It's the Wolf Media Festival podcast. Today's guests, beloved actors, Donovan Patton and Josh DeLa Cruz. And now, here's your hosts, Kyle Hollingsworth, Richard Wilmore, and Jacquelynn Wolfheart.
Okay guys, this is our second live podcast. And it probably sounds awesome for everybody. Welcome to the Wolf Media Festival podcast, live edition. And we already have our guests on stage, but let me introduce Kyle Hollingsworth, Richard Wilmore, Josh DeLa Cruz, and Donovan Patton. And I am Jacquelynn Wolfheart.
We three just hugged yesterday for the first time in person.
Yes.
We've only done this remotely, so we've never been in the same physical space. And how cool is that?
We have been in love online for so long.
Yes.
And finally,
We're in the flesh, baby.
we are in the flesh.
We are.
And now, all five of us in person. And we have all of us have been chatting with each other for months and months on, no, just kidding. That's not true.
Letters and sending
Think.
Still waiting for my pigeon to return.
Oh, yeah.
It was a long note, sorry. I wrote it down. Okay.
So since this is not our normal format to just start with our guests, but we're going to jump into it. And normally, I think of anybody who goes to conventions and things like that, they go to Q&As, and we're going to do ours a lot different because we're doing our podcast and not a typical Q&A, but we will open it up to the audience at some point. But we are attention hogs, so we are going to hog a lot of the time.
Yeah, we have hard-driving questions too.
Yes.
Serious.
Questions are for hour third.
But actually, how we do our podcast is you ask us questions. No, I'm just kidding.
And it's rapid fire, go.
Yeah.
Social security numbers. I know where we're digging right now.
7.
Team?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, this festival has been crazy for me. I've been running around like crazy, but one of the things you guys know that I've been doing is with the LOL kids. We've been doing, so some of you guys may have attended the LOL Kids comedy show earlier today, and that is some stand-up comedian children, and they're performing skits. And one of the skits that they are performing is there is an interpreter that can translate the alpha language to the adult, millennial adults. And we have 2 gentlemen on stage who are they influence the alpha generation, and I am curious if you guys...
You got a couple of skippy rizzlers here? Is what you're saying?
Yeah, I got it. I brought the skit that I wrote here, and I'm curious if you...
Gen X.
He's Gen X.
Wait till last.
He's a little
couple
bit...
years of Gen X.
Yeah, you both just had birthdays. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
But I'm going to see if, because you guys both have influenced alpha, I'm going to run through a couple of these alpha lines and see if you can translate.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Because you are...
Show, us against them.
Okay. All right, Kyle and Richard.
And then we should have a kid on our team too.
Okay. Do we have a kid in the audience who wants to be a part of the team? Luxon? No? We got team members? Anybody?
You speak Gen Alpha?
Okay, we got 2 kids right here.
All right, here you go.
Okay, one on this team, one on that team.
All right, you come with us. You and I.
You're gonna be on this side, okay?
All right.
And I'm gonna stand off to the side. I'm gonna let you take my seat, okay? Okay, so I'm making this game up as we go because it just became a game.
Sorry.
I love this for us.
I love this for you guys.
Okay.
So how it's gonna go, I will give you guys a second to talk amongst yourself. And there's no buzzing in, I will just go, do you know? Yeah.
So it's these two against
Whoever gets it first.
There's made the alpha talk this way, okay?
Great. Thank you. I mean, I fully blame Josh. I just got here.
You know, my alpha team's back there. I got alpha teams.
The ones looking at their phones?
The ones on their phones in this very interesting moment. And my alpha 7-year-old back there has watched both of you. So I blame you as well.
All right, tag me the answers, bro. Okay.
Okay, so I gotta make sure I can read the answer, you know? Okay, I'll start with the first one. Low key, it was a full vibe, but then math class hit, and I was straight shook.
Okay, all right. So, I think
Can you use it in a sentence, please?
Hold on.
That is a sentence.
Can you make a sentence again?
Once again, low key, it was a whole vibe, but then math class hit, and I was straight shook.
Are we supposed to be telling you what that means?
What does that sentence mean? I love that our audience is also debating what it could mean.
Was this our answer?
We have a potential answer.
We think, right? Okay.
It's time.
Yeah.
Okay, so you.
My friend Isabella told Josh. Josh told me, and I think it was like, hey, no big deal, I was having a pretty good day. And then math class happened. And I had to dance. No, straight shook, right? No. The math class, like, it really, I was destroyed. I was worried through math class. Like that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. That is what it means.
Straight shook. Should mean I had to dance. So I'm just saying. Like,
However, can I brag that I think I'm hilarious because I wrote overwhelmed by mathematical trauma, and I think that's hilarious. Mathematical trauma.
I was thinking about wardrobe.
Right?
All right.
Go on.
Yeah.
Okay, this is us now. Gotta get into this.
Okay, this one is much longer. Okay, I'm gonna do a whole paragraph here. You don't get it. We were out of pocket the whole time, but Mr. Thompson got big mad when we tried to ban him tax his pizza. He was just playing though. That's just how people from the 1900s do sometimes.
I need you to say that again, because I think.
Website? People from the 1900s.
I was born in the 1900s.
I know, that one hurts.
Wait, can we do this like chunk by chunk? This one's too long.
This is too long.
You don't get it. We were out of pocket the whole time, but Mr. Thompson got big mad when I tried to ban him tax his pizza.
When you what?
Oh, yeah, all right. This one I know. All right, wait.
He was just playing though. That's how people from the 1900s be sometimes.
I mean, she doesn't know. I don't know.
Can we phone a friend?
Can we phone a friend?
Do we have a friend in the audience?
Can anyone help me?
Teens in the back?
Wait, do you guys know it?
I think I know.
Wait, okay, go.
Yeah. All right. Good. First chunk. Can we go chunk by chunk?
Chunk by chunk.
All right.
But it's time, so you only have 10 seconds.
Shit. 10 seconds per chunk. 10 seconds per chunk. Wait, how did it begin? How did it begin?
Okay.
We were out of pocket the whole time. What was before that?
This one
You don't get it. We were out of pocket the whole time, but Mr. Thompson got big mad when I tried to ban him tax his pizza.
Yeah. So people were acting crazy. Like basically from the jump. Like the people in my generation.
Yeah, people from the 1900s, like from Jump Street, people were acting all rowdy and kind of nuts. And then someone basically tried to steal Mr. Thompson's. Mr. Thompson got all angry when someone tried to steal his pizza, but he was just playing. He was just kidding. He pretended to be angry. He was like, "Oh, don't steal my pizza!" No, I'm just kidding. I sneezed on it.
Okay, when the judge is ruling, I think what actually happened is he added an extra tax to the pizza.
Is he selling pizza?
Something.
No.
No, but that
No, I
believe me.
He didn't add extra tax.
No.
Sure.
Okay, sorry, I'm on your team.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You mean it's like cable charges? When like people...
Yeah, like that extra tertiary thing that you pay, and you don't really know why.
Team Blue's Clues is right again.
What did you say?
When you special tax is like when you steal someone's food, basically.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It keeps
That's not the whole thing, but like,
Phantom tax or phantom tax?
Phantom tax. Phantom tax.
How do you spell that?
Phantom. Phantom is F-A-N-U-M.
It's Phantom.
Phantom.
I thought it was phantom.
It isn't phantom.
Like Danny Phantom.
It is a person who like sneaks in the person. It's a streamer, a YouTuber, and he steals other people's food. His name is Phantom.
Worthington Q Phantom.
Yes, Worthington Q. So you're aware.
I knew him when he was just called Ted.
So did I get it right?
They are.
We're only doing this for Fuel Stars.
What's that?
Letting you win.
We don't want your welcome here to be like upset.
People in his apartment.
So I also didn't understand it because I thought it was phantom this whole time.
But you still got it right.
So
So,
got it right. And fake outrage, joking around, an older person born before the year 2000.
We would never.
Sarcasm, get out of here.
who the heck
Let's see if I can find another
Short
one.
one.
Okay, the longest one possible, you got it.
Yeah, just make it up to about.
Yeah, and then Ginny got all salty because I said her fit was chewy. But I didn't mean it in a bad way, like demure. She was serving up cute millennial grandma vibes.
What in the?
Did that hurt? Did that hurt?
know? Because I actually.
Chewy. C-H-E-U-G-Y. Chewy.
You know, from that YouTuber Chewy.
No.
I think George is named Charles.
I mean, I get it.
Can you hear me?
Let me repeat that one more time. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, and then Ginny got salty because I said her fit was chewy. But I didn't mean it in a bad way, like demure. She was serving up cute millennial grandma vibes.
Are there millennial grandmas?
There are. I am old enough to be a grandma.
Alright, okay. So, okay.
I feel like
My kids are adults.
happening about an outfit, and I'm not entirely sure what's happening.
But she looks cute.
But
Like
like,
old,
that's not my
thrifty
answer.
cute.
You guys are sick.
That's Chewy.
Take mine.
I think that the answer might be like she thought that her clothes looked weird, but not in a bad way.
You are very close.
Yeah,
You are very close. So salty is a key word, that she had a bad attitude because
She was spicy about it.
she was feeling spicy about it. She was having a bad attitude because I insulted her clothing.
Okay.
But I was saying it was, subtle. Her clothing was subtle, like a cute grandma might wear.
So she's not into the grandma and also with a little spicy attitude.
Yep, and then
That's what I'm thinking.
I made up my own.
Oh, I like it. Here we go.
I'll have this be the last one if you guys are okay with that.
Yeah, we're great.
You got me geeked for real. My innie is clocking out, no kissing.
Like any, like another?
Like severance.
Oh,
Clocking out.
my God. You guys take this, I know.
Well, all right.
Children are getting a severance?
You got me geeked for real. My innie's clocking out, no kissing.
No kidding. No kidding. My name is clocking out. You gotta geek me. I'm excited about something.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, my work self. So yeah, so I'm relaxing. Basically. Yeah, right. My innie is at work, so my innie's clocking out. The out of the party person is going to.
Like the real, like a mullet.
Yes, my mullet self is out.
The mask is out.
Front is done. Party in the back.
Is not.
It's Saturday night, it's covered.
Is that right?
I think we all just won.
If anybody was a fan of Severance, yes, innie is your worker and your outie is your non-worker. They have concluded that this conversation is decidedly uninteresting and there will be no more talk about school-related events or activities.
That's exactly what I said.
That is what I heard. That is what I heard.
Only you guys are listening.
That's right. Wow.
See, I was referencing, there was a book written in 1999 called Geek Love.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Was it 99? 98? So
The millennial
that feels like a good reference point. Harper Collins says, Merriam-Webster describes.
Did you say Harper Collins?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yes.
Thank you, ladies. I think your name. Alexia, you guys are amazing. Thank you.
We could not have figured that out.
Absolutely not.
She's been amazing.
I would have gone completely the other direction. You say it first.
Yes, winners. These ladies are winners. I have prizes for you guys after this.
Yes.
They're in the other room, though. And gentlemen, excellent job. Thanks for recruiting the ultimate crazy language in the new generation. You are responsible completely 100%.
Man, so geeked is that, huh?
Geeked is that.
The geeked is that.
I'm learning every day.
And the no kissy part of that sentence was actually brought on by my son Lincoln, added that part of the sentence.
Well,
No.
do you actually use that, Lincoln?
No,
But
but kids do.
no kidsy. Okay, so I have a question.
Yeah, no Keynesian is right, like a.
Kinsey?
People that don't believe in Keynesian economics? No Keynesian. No, it's not, again, no.
Because I'm going to go down. What's going to go down is, so I was doing a little recon on you both. Yeah.
You have some photos.
Yeah.
It was a slideshow. And Donovan, I'm super curious about your voiceover work. And I'm also going to be very bold and brave and ask you, could you do a voice for me?
Sure.
So tell me about what you're doing voiceover wise and like maybe can you sample us?
He has so many.
Yeah. All right,
Your
so
choice.
it all began one day.
In that world.
I sort of stumbled into voiceover stuff slightly accidentally through Blue's Clues, basically. I auditioned for it and then was later selected to do a character called Bot on a show called Teen Movie Zoom.
My favorite.
And and so I thought I was going to be able to do something really cool, like sound like Optimus Prime. And they were like, no. We kind of wanted to sound more like you. And then the voice we ended up settling on, because I ended up basically shouting all the time, was something like, something similar to Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. So Bob would be like, yoinks, Billy, Jill! And I think that's very close to, like, wow, Sue! It's like, it's pretty close. He lives up there, he's exciting! And so that was, after that, I ended up doing, I've done some work in like cartoons and video games and stuff like that. Not a lot of people know this. I did work with a guy named Chris Place, who's a stuntman, and another actor named Brad Schmidt, and the three of us did all the in-game motion capture for Grand Theft Auto 5. So my wife decided to play that game, and she was like, wait, that's your run. So oh my god, like all like the running in the middle of the game and stuff like that. So if you're like, stealing somebody's motorcycle or car or bicycle or whatever, seen a show that was on Cartoon Network called Clarence?
Yes.
There's a guy named Mr. Reese who's in charge of detention. I got Mr. Reese for a while. And I didn't originally get those, I took over that one.
The creator of that show moved on from the show, and they needed to recast it. So I got to work with some lovely people, including Tom Kenny and Roger Craig Smith and Kate Crown, just like Eric Elstein, like amazing actors. And that was the last one. We were all we were all in one room together. And now I work on a show called Gabby's Dollhouse, where I play a character called the Cat. And he's like, I just thought it was like this all guy would be like on the 1970s Hollywood squares. Where he might have like a martini in his hand, he's just hanging out talking to people. Got a lot of attitude, a lot of opinions, doesn't like loud ones, because even though he's kind of loud himself. And so, I do the voices now, and then,
So tell me this, when you have to originate a voice,
Uh-huh.
it seems very different than when you have to actually emulate
Sure.
the existing voice.
Yeah.
So speak to that a little bit, if you don't mind. Like, how was that for you to have, like, okay, this is what it sounds like, just copy that exactly, as opposed to, like, flavor it with your own?
Well, those are two different skills. There's some people that are amazing at mimicking people's voices, and I can do a little bit of that, but it kind of usually has to be somewhere toward my natural register, unless, you go somewhere like oh, be fire stick or something. If it's, you can do that one. Just like, oh my gosh, I gotta hit him. I try to do his voice. I like to look at the art. It's really helpful to look at the art and see, what the character kind of might look like, they move like, or how big their mouth is. Actually, like changes things, because if you have like a big old fish who's got like a big old mouth, you sound like his big old mouth, and he's drooling all over the place. As opposed to somebody who's like a teeny tiny mouth, I'm sorry. It depends on what the character looks like. And it's usually the most helpful thing. And then you just mess around. Like, we're on a new project now that I can't talk about because it's a secret. But we actually...
Can you talk about it a little bit?
Well, so I can talk about just finding the voice. I won't get in trouble. I'll get in legit trouble. We actually had a lot of... They were like, we never want you to do this character. But then the voice that they settled on, which we kind of just finished on maybe like a month ago, is vastly different from the very, very first voice. Like the very first voice was this guy, like a Bostonian accent, and he was like, hey, how are you? He sort of sounded like that. That was because, that's not the voice they chose. And they're like, it's a little too aggressive. And so now it's going to be a much, I don't know, friendlier voice.
It's a kid show?
Yes.
Okay.
And I know that we're talking about.
Okay, well, I just wasn't sure if it's like a South Parky kind of...
Oh, no, this is for the youth.
Okay,
For
cool.
the next gen, Skitty Riddlers.
Yes, and for contributing more to the problem, got it. Understood. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Cool, awesome.
Thank you.
You do a version now of The Scariest Man on Planet, Christopher Walken, right?
Oh, yeah.
Could you?
Well, that's how I got the job on Blue's Clues.
We need you to do it now.
So, what's funny is I recently unearthed the video of this, and I have been telling this story for a few years now. So I showed up at the screen test for Blue's Clues, and my memory of what happened is not what happened.
Oh.
I found a VHS tape in my garage, because I've moved across the country a whole bunch of times, and I feel like I've never unpacked. So I found this thing, and I had it digitized, and I looked at it again. And it's possible that my memory is a little bit more of what's going on than what was just caught on the tape, because the part of the tape that we got is just when Steve and I were doing the scenes. Because in between some of the scenes, and I was, auditioning to be Joe, and so I sounded like Joe. I sounded like the guy, and then in between takes, the producers came up to me and said, "Do you sound exactly like Matthew Broderick?" And I didn't know what to do with that information. I mean, what do you say to that? It's not even like a question. And And so in my mind, it's fun. And so what I came up with was just like, funny. People usually tell me I sound like Christopher Walken.
Nice.
And then like the crew started giggling. Steve did this like slow burn, and he pulled me aside. He said, "Okay, when we go again, let's both be Christopher Walken." I was like, "You're on. Let's do it." And so there's this whole thing of like us, Steve's like, Steve's doing Christopher Walken, I'm doing Christopher Walken, and he starts talking about like, "Hey, what do we want to do? We go to the beach, fish." Like, I don't, these other people that's not talking, I'm like, yeah, I'm down with that, but I don't know what we're doing, basically, and in my mind, we both sounded exactly like Christopher Walken, but in the tape, we're both pretty bad. Yeah, it's like, we both sing, we've gotten better for years, our impressions have improved,
But also, something that, so I heard you tell this story a lot because I'm a stalker, and but something that if you don't, like nobody ever points out is you actually do a really good impression of Steve. Nobody ever talks about it because Steve has such a subtle, like not really a lot of mannerisms or something that are significant, but you actually can sound very much.
Oh no, it was just right there. He's just like, we gotta both do walking. Okay. Steve talks like he's got.
Does anybody know Steve? But I mean, just know Steve, but like close your eyes and tell me that that is not Steve.
Yeah, and he'll just say like, "What's your story?" So he can help you write it.
I swear.
It's really good.
I believe you.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
He actually did that campaign. Pretty sure.
It just takes me back to the old days,
The old days.
The olden days.
So moving on. Josh, I hear you did some Broadway.
Yeah.
On Broadway.
Yeah. I got my start.
Notice I'm singing it.
I got my start doing musicals.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
I got my start doing musicals. I didn't think that I'd ever go into like children's television ever.
Sing me your favorite line from your favorite musical that you did.
Oh
No,
my
no
gosh.
pressure.
My favorite line from
I
my
mean, whatever. Just pick something.
favorite musical I've ever done. Oh boy, that's a hard one.
The next one.
The very next one I'm gonna do. No, I mean Aladdin's always a
I was going to
special.
say Aladdin.
It's always a special show because I kind of like kick things off for me.
Yeah.
But it's not Aladdin. It's I understudied Iago for a little bit. I had the opportunity to understudy Iago, and
That's
that was
so fun.
the most stinking fun I ever had.
Well, stink and sing something.
Oh my gosh, what does he say?
Do
No.
it.
Just looking for a few notes. Come on.
I'm hoping. You didn't have to do that? No, I didn't have to do that. He sings something like, he doesn't have any songs, he just sings like back and like, we are the diamond. It's like some like, I'm just silly in the background, and I think that was my favorite part because there was like no pressure. I got to do like a lot of physical comedy that I don't typically get to do.
Yeah.
Like Aladdin's very like ingenue, like, oh, I'm just living in some guy.
Yeah.
Come on, I'll take you on my carpet. Like, everybody can trust me. But Iago was a lot of fun.
That's cool.
Yeah. And there's a show on Broadway right now called Maybe Happy End. And I had the opportunity to work on that for years. And if you have a chance to see it, go and see it. It's about two we'll call them people that are reaching the end of their life. And essentially no, they're just like, they're living in this like hospice, like village. And it's about, like, they fall in love, but about, like, they're both reaching the end of their life, but they choose to go out and leave the village to experience life instead of just stay there, isolated. And it's one of the most beautiful things I've ever worked on, and it's on Broadway right now. Darren Criss is playing the lead. It's awesome.
Nice. Awesome.
Where'd you guys grow up?
I grew up most of my life in New Jersey. Yeah.
I'm a military brat. I bounced around. I was born in Guam, then the we lived in Colorado, then Germany, Vegas, Napa, California. I went to boarding school in Michigan, and then I moved to New York City, well, New Jersey City, and then New York City after that. And then California, back to New Jersey, back to California again.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. We moved back, we thought we were going to do just California for like a year, and a year became 2.
That's what I want.
And we were like, yeah, good. And then we decided to move back. And as soon as we moved back, I started working on that show Clarence that I talked about just a little earlier. And so there's a thing where you get, it's called a local hire. So when you get hired in town, they assume you live in town, so nobody's going to pay your travel expenses or something like that. And because it's voiceover, they're always like you for the following week. So they're like, hey, what are you doing next Thursday? I'm like, so I'm getting a plane. So I sort of moved for Sky Miles for like a year and a half. And then after a while, we were like, what's going on? Our life kind of makes sense in LA. And so then we moved back. Yeah.
And where were you when you did Shakespeare?
New York. Back in New York, yeah. Well, the last time in New York, I want to do it again. I need to get back up on stage.
Want to do it again?
Oh, yeah.
What you do?
I'm not sure anymore, because it's like, when I don't know, I had the good fortune of doing Mercutio, which is my favorite role in all of Shakespeare. Yeah, it's just like, and for a while that started this thing where I only wanted to play characters that died. It was like, this is
That's
great.
Shakespeare.
Well, I mean, I don't know, there's something about it where it's like, it's the end of the story, and it's like you just like kind of give it your all, and then it's done. You're not saving anything left in the tank. But now, like going back, it's like, I don't know, like, is it weird to say like what to do or something like that? Maybe like, try to give Richard III, something like that. I'd like to do Henry VI Part 2.
Okay.
Yeah, so not the other parts, just the middle one.
Thank you.
What about you, going back on stage?
Yeah, I would love to.
So you want to sing though? You want to sing though?
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to
I
sing.
just want to do karaoke with you later. It's all
You know what's funny? I saw so like you kind of like grow up with karaoke, and that's kind of how you figure out that like, oh, you can sing.
Yeah.
But I guess I realized like, oh, I don't really enjoy doing karaoke. It's so funny. I sing, but I don't like singing unless there's like a traumatic reason that I have to. Unless the script tells me that for some dramatic reason, it's like the story demands that this character sings.
You gotta have passion.
I gotta have like a reason. There's an objective to this song.
So if I light the chair on fire, you will sing now?
I suppose. I mean,
We've got a layer.
it's very stressful.
Got a layer.
Exactly. Yeah, but I would, being like, I would love to do a show that's Donovan.
Yeah.
A musical.
Oh yeah, let's just move the tables.
Yeah, I mean, you can write that to it.
All right.
I think it would be great to do a show with Steve and Donovan.
Yes, please do.
That would be a lot of fun.
Oh my God.
Would it be kid-friendly or adults?
Probably.
Let's just like workshop this right now.
Probably adult.
Should be pretty adult.
Yeah.
Probably adult.
Guys, there's kids in the room.
Well, they could watch the show,
They can watch it with their own.
but it wouldn't be geared toward.
Yeah.
Right.
Just gotta get a job, buy a ticket.
That's right.
Easy. That's all you gotta do,
That's all
guys.
you gotta do. But what would you want to do? I think you'd be great in like a Tennessee Williams situation.
Okay.
I wanna get
Old enough to where I can do Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? Basically, the George and Martha. I
Yeah.
don't know. I like that reality.
That was the first thing I ever did in one of the acting classes
Yeah.
back in the Stone Age. It was, a scene from Virginia Woolf. That's the tendency.
They're just being horrible to each other the whole time.
They're harsh
It's
and
sad.
sad.
I don't know. And I used to think that if you could do Chekhov, basically, that's like, if you can do Chekhov, you can do anything. It's like the hardest stuff.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, moving on. Donovan.
Oh, the gun? Yeah. I hear you. I see it. I hear you. Thank you.
I think I counted like 11 independent films that you've done, is that right?
Oh, maybe some. Sure. Try it. Yeah, the most recent one I did was one called Four for Fun, which was directed by a guy named Jason Cook, and it was a ton of fun. It was we filmed that kind of in the middle of the pandemic times, so we all had to make sure that none of us had the Rona. And that's why they kept the cast small. It's a story where it's like it keeps getting reset. It's this couple that go over to this woman's boss's house for dinner, and the dinner party is not what they thought it was. And so they keep getting it wrong. Essentially, something in the evening keeps getting messed up. And so like the way the guy who directed it, he also wrote it. The first chapter is 1 page, and the second chapter is 2 pages. And the third chapter is 4 pages, and then 8, and 16, and then 32 is the main one, and then back down to 16, back to 8 on it. So it's like, but it's basically like almost at different dimensions, essentially. And then, but it's the same premise, like they're going over for dinner, and then each time something happens that causes it to reset.
Cool. Interesting. I feel like you think you're not going to get away with this, knowing that you sing also.
Oh, I can get paid to sing, but I cannot sing well. It's like, it's a thing, like compared to Josh, no.
I want to hear a little. If something wins what's the point?
Oh yeah, that's what I keep thinking when she's got this here. We just got a letter, we just got a letter, we just got a letter.
Let's get a skill song. Kids on the road.
You don't have to sing.
No. No, because I go to like Froggy singing like that, like cheesy operatic, or when I'm at karaoke, I end up like sort of like scream singing some songs. I'm just like, some sugar me, like real loud, real growly, and then I can't speak by the end of the night.
Yeah, it sounds like
Basically, because I don't sing it properly. I'm like,
I don't understand how people can sing it like that. I'm amazed by people that have
he
that.
hates karaoke.
Yeah.
yeah.
He hates it.
We're gonna take Josh on karaoke, but we're gonna just like say awful things to him before every song, so then he feels compelled emotionally.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna.
A dramatic moment compels him.
Oh, sorry,
That's the
Josh.
only way I can sing. It's the only way I can sing.
My diagnosis just came in, Josh. Oh, we're up.
Yeah.
It's like when it is after this song. When you go to things like this, and like your demographic is here,
Like right now.
real people. How do you like balance that with like, hanging out with your fans and then hanging out with their parents?
Oh.
Energy-wise, I think we end up being sensitive to like everyone who's in the room, I suppose.
I try to be. It's hard. I mean, like, because the Josh on the show is like a character that I aspire to be, like in real life. I definitely can jump to conclusions a lot more as like me, out and about, and I definitely have like a temper just like everybody else. I have a potty mouth, which I'm trying to get better with.
Why?
Well, because I think because kids, and I think there are more eloquent ways to communicate that aren't aggressive or that could be misconstrued in a conversation. Because there's so much that I hate being misunderstood, and I feel like whenever I use language that is just very general or easy, it's more often I'm misunderstood more often.
What do you mean?
Than not. It's
Yeah,
exactly.
It's okay.
You got so close to singing. So close to singing, I can feel it.
I think that segues into tell us about Law and Order.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's a Law and Order.
I was on an episode of Law and Order where I got to play. If you haven't seen it, I play a character. If you have seen it, no, it's really cool. I've always wanted to be on Law and Order, but
You did it.
so we did it, and we filmed Blues Clues in Toronto, and my wife and I, we fell in love with that city so much that we decided to stay, and we lived there for about 3 years, and I was auditioning there, and it's my favorite city I've ever been in, and I walk around and take pictures all the time, and And so when I got Law and Order, and it was like a really juicy like guest star, and it's like super dramatic, but we got to film on location in different places, but they're places that I walked around with my camera. And so it was really cool to now be like, oh man, I've passed by this store so many times, but now I'm in the store filming this thing. And so whenever I get to, whenever I pass by, I have this awesome memory. Like there's one spot on the Hudson where I filmed my first TV thing ever. I died. I was killed by a self-driving car. And so like, it always makes me laugh. Because one of the last things you see of me when I get hit by a car is you see my legs kind of jump up, because you see it from like underneath the truck, and you just see my legs go. and the next thing you see is me on the car with like a tiny little bit of blood coming out of my mouth, and it makes me laugh all the time. So whenever I see that,
It's so dramatic.
yeah, it's very dramatic, and that's when I started singing. I played. My character on Law and Order was, I was a student that who was about to graduate. His parents.
Spoilers ahead.
Spoilers ahead. His parents were planning on going to the Philippines to go be with their mother, who was under the weather, and then they said, "Hey, we can make it to your graduation." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like it's all sold out, but I'll figure out tickets." Unfortunately, my parents are killed, and so the entire story is about trying to find out like who killed my parents.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
Great character.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So it was like a dream job to have, because you get like really dramatic scenes. But I will be honest, it was one of my favorite places to work. Best, like amazing crew, awesome experience, but it was such a bummer. Just because you have to be like, oh, like you're the guy whose parents got killed. And they're like, hey, you want ice cream? I'm like, not right now. But I'm so thank you. Not right now.
Like the cast is like, yeah, we just got some ice cream. You want some? You sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna, maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
I just kind of have to be like right here. My parents just
I have
died.
that sugar rush right now.
Yeah, right now. So like, but Blue's Clues, after having done that, and then I did an episode of Foo Bar with like a small role, but like I got to be on set with like Schwarzenegger and Carrie Moss, and it was really cool. It was a couple of days. But after having done both of those things, I remember walking away and I felt so happy, like feeling this and knowing this. I was like, man, Blue's Clues is my favorite job I ever had.
Aww.
And I would have done that every single day for the rest of my life.
No weekends.
No weekend. Well, no, I loved it.
Everyone has to fight the rest of your life.
Yeah, so yeah, it was. That's yeah. But yeah, Law and Order. You can watch it on Amazon
I'm gonna
Prime.
go do it.
It's Toronto, yes, I was gonna say, Law and Order Toronto, so you have to get, you can't do Amazon Prime, you have to get
Get it through City TV.
City TV,
Yeah,
yes.
through City TV.
But
yeah.
through Amazon Prime.
But through Amazon Prime. And there's still parts that make me laugh. Like my family and I and my wife were like laughing at some of the things like in the show, and it's cool. I don't like to watch myself, but it's nice to be able to laugh at yourself. Yeah.
We're always laughing at you, so anyway.
I mean, that's why you're here.
Speaking of your life, you have the sweetest proposal story.
Oh yeah.
I don't know this, and I'm the
That's why
stalker.
it's here. Tell
But
me.
I'm the stalker of the group, and I don't know this.
So my wife and I, we went to college together. We went to Montclair State, New Jersey. We were both studying musical theater, and we were in the same musical theater graduating class. We tried to get together after our freshman year. That didn't work out, and then so we were just like friends, and then the summer before our senior year, I was in a mall because I live in New Jersey, and I was like just chilling in a mall. I get a phone call from Amanda, and I'm like, oh, Amanda's calling me. What's up? And I was like, hey, what's going on? She's like, hey, our Carlos just booked a summer stop gig, so he can't help me with this dance reel that I'm working on. Would you help me? Would you dance with me on this thing? I was like, yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll totally help. So and she was in a relationship at the time, so there was like no pressure. I was like coming in, we were just friends, and we were hanging out, and it was the first time that we could actually hang out without come in. Every time I left, I was like, God, really, like, that was great. Love hanging out with her. What eventually happened was we got together, and we've been together ever since. Now, cut to like maybe 6 years later, trying to figure out how to propose to her, but I want to make sure that like there's a camera there without, the gate being up. It's like, oh, I know what you're doing. Like, sooner or later, better late than never. So I'm like, all right, well, what if I say I'm making a dance reel? So I got my friends, they were both in a lab with me, my good friend Donald, who actually later choreographed for Blue's Clues as well, and my buddy Angelo, who is Mr. Angelo on Miss Rachel. He's our videographer and our editor. And so we had rehearsals with Amanda in studio. We had scout location, we went location scouting, we had rehearsals on location, and then the morning of, the night before, our entire apartment's all packed up because we're moving. And it's summer, so it's hot. We got into this really big fight because it's like, this is not like a great time. And it was like, I was like, just be there, please! Just be there. And we were both at each other's throats because it was like summer, hot, and
nothing's more romantic.
Yeah, that's how you know. And then so we were there, we shot the entire thing, and then once we got a final good take, my buddy Angelo would say, all right, let's do one more for luck. So we shoot it, and they're like, all right, I think we got it. Let's do one more for luck. And I had totally forgot about the proposal at that point. And Angelo, my buddy Donald, hands me the ring, and I put it in my back pocket, in like the box and everything. And so we're filming this in New York City. We filmed on the west side in Riverside Park. Then we filmed in Central Park, and we ended at the Fountain, which is this really beautiful fountain in the middle of the park. And then at the time, there was also a guy doing like these giant bubbles. So my buddy Angelo went over and said, hey, can you do these bubbles while we do this thing? So during that take, there are these beautiful giant bubbles like going through us as we dance. And so then the final move is like we're both supposed to do a turn, and then instead of me doing a turn, I went up to my knee, and then I proposed to her then. And because my friends are so talented and overachievers, they put together this beautiful edit and then posted it online. And that was one of the things that my agent sent to Tracy and Angela, the creators of the show. So it ended up becoming like support material later, but that was never the intended purpose. It was just like I'm not great at explaining like that thing. So. Right.
I thought you were going to tell me that you proposed inside a bubble. But then my bubble burst. This is fun.
You should submit that to the Wolf Media Festival.
I know. The video? Oh, yeah.
A winner already.
Yeah.
Okay, while you were talking, I had like 14 questions pop in my head that were, all of them were unrelated because I have ADHD, maybe.
Good luck.
Oh, yeah, because I rambled. Sorry. Okay, one was, because you're talking about New York, it just reminded me of the movie you guys did, the Blues Clues movie. And I'm like, I'm not going to ask the Blues Clues question. Okay, you guys had Alex Winters in the movie without even being like, this taxi ride was excellent. It was the best, there was no Bill and Ted reference at all. Yeah, why did you guys not?
There was a reference on the taxi, on the license plate.
On the license plate?
I can't remember what it was.
I just thought it was...
Was it Bill and
Excellent. No, the license plate said excellent.
And I missed it. I just thought it was so interesting to have like this icon, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Alex Winters, or even put Vampire Things or something in him, like throw back to the 80s, put him in the film and not really have some big moment to throw back of who he was. But what a good get for you guys. It's not like you guys aren't a good get.
It was awesome. He's actually married to the executive producer.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's the connect. Yeah, I worked with him a couple times. And yeah,
I think that was the get.
That was how.
That was the get.
Yes, that's right.
Well, that make it easy. So make
But
it
he
easy.
said he directs documentary films and stuff like that. Yeah,
he
Yeah.
does like amazing, like, you know, the Panama Papers and all kinds of different stuff. Yeah,
It's a great one of child actors, since he was a child actor.
Right, right.
Yeah, there's one.
Oh,
It's
wow.
on Amazon. You can watch it on Amazon about
Is it?
being a child actor. No.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures, Alex Winter.
Yeah, during all of those scenes, I was forcing myself not to freak out and like make
I
it all
can
about
imagine,
that.
yeah.
It was an act of will, basically, yeah. But I was thinking that the entire time.
And
I was like,
if you guys haven't watched
Bill and Ted's Excellent
no.
Adventure.
Blue's
You should
Big
watch
City Adventure.
Blue's, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Blue's Big City Adventure and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Right.
Like, we need a supercut.
There was so many.
Release the Snyder Cut of Blue's Big Excellent
You
and
guys
Ted's
had so
Adventure.
many, like scenes that were not written in the film, right? You guys just went on script so many times.
Oh, yeah, I mean, well, what's fun is we were given a little bit of, we can't go, like, completely
The whole thing
away
was
from the
made up
source
as you
material.
went.
No, but I mean, but I did get, like, every now and again I get a line in there as well, like, I don't know, something about, like, the carbs, like, I don't know, but Steve and I, like, because it's weird, it's not normal to have a fight, like in Blue's
Yeah.
world or whatever, so we had a little bit of a sibling tiff there where we're getting snappy with each other. Something about the carbohydrates could not be more simple. Like, I made that one up. He was like, it's complex carbs. Like, they could not be more simple. But the one I was most proud of is, because I came up with both of these lines. The whole, like, Joe thing where every day is a gift was something that we started on the show.
You started.
Well, yeah, but it was like, I think something, it used to be a thing where we would mess around after the take was done. So like Josh would be in the present store and then he would like leave. And I would wave and say goodbye to something like, you know, like, come on guys, something like that. And basically I started saying like, every day's a gift. And you know, and then so in the movie he was like, I guess every day's a gift that you pay for. And I'm surprised they kept it. But like on the set, it was like, and then they would just let me talk for about 90 seconds more, and I would just kind of ramble on about, you know, very Blue's Clues type topics, basically, you know, about commerce and how it's soul grinding, and how at the end of the day, you just want it to stop, but you can't. Why? Because people get hungry. Yeah, they do, and they never stop getting hungry until they stop. But then you gotta pay for that too. Anyway, it was all in fun.
Yeah, you guys have good chemistry
So,
to do that together, though. Like,
Yeah.
So it worked out great. I love the movie, obviously.
Thank you.
As in my 40+ years of life, I was watching it on my own. So
I love just.
all three.
Oh, speaking of Josh's, one thing that for some reason didn't make it into the movie.
Oh.
There was after the Bethesda Fountain, because part of it was filmed at the Bethesda Fountain, but they had this. What is it? Is that a
Your wife is in the movie too, right?
She
That
is
your
in the
wife.
movie.
Okay, that is
So
your wife.
when they sent me the script, I found out about the movie a month before they were shooting. They're like, hey, they're gonna do a movie. I was in Arizona getting like just eating everything and like enjoying my time off. And they're like, hey, they need you back in New York City. They're gonna shoot the movie in a month. Here's the script. And then there was a bit, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. I have to drive back because we were doing a road trip to meet my nephew for the first time ever. And so I was reading the script, and I turned to her and I'm like, you're in this. She was like, no. I'm like, yeah, you're literally in this. And she was like, they're gonna cut it. I was like, oh yeah, they're totally gonna cut it. And then it was me meeting her at the park, and then like me like being like, oh, that was nice. And then I go into this dream ballet, and then we were dancing at the Bethesda Fountain that night underneath the steps, and it's like this really beautiful moment. She's in a gown, I'm in a tuxedo, and we're like, yeah, it's totally gonna get cut. We're rehearsing for it, and we're like, well, it's gonna get cut. There's a whole then we shoot the thing, and it's beautiful, and we shot it during the week of our 5th year wedding anniversary.
Oh.
And so we got to work on this thing together. We were in we shared the trailer. It was beautiful, and then we shot it, and it was gorgeous. It was at night. It was beautifully lit. There was a steady cam, and then we get this phone call close to when the movie's coming out. They're like, Josh, we just wanted to tell you, just to hear it from us, we're so sorry, we had to cut it. And then we were like, yeah, it was like, oh, thanks, you know, like we knew it was going to get cut, we were just glad it was shot.
But look at this picture of them. This was backstage when we were filming it.
Oh.
Look how like in love they are.
It's a beautiful picture, yeah.
So cute.
Oh my God, that is so cute.
See them here? I'm gonna.
He's coming around, guys. He's coming around. And then, while he shows his toes, I have this question, Josh, and this is an awkward question, but we were on a podcast, and this morning I talked about a love that Kyle and I shared, and I know that Donovan also shares this love. And I was wondering, Kyle and I SSDGM, and Donovan SSDGM.
Really, Donovan?
What's that? These two?
Oh, stay safe. Don't get murdered.
Oh.
But you don't SSDGM?
So what do you have to do?
Are we back to that game we played earlier?
No. He's just one of the best podcasts except for
Donovan, you SSDGM, correct? I'm not making that up.
Oh, it's a podcast that just.
Here's Donovan, let's do it. So ready? Like, get your mic.
I don't know if I can be considered a full murder anymore.
Are you ready?
And not anymore.
Stay sexy.
And don't get
Murder.
metastasized
Oh.
into
Wrong script.
murder, yeah.
But you're not a, I was just really hoping.
I'm terrified. Alright, so, I'm getting murdered.
Second, we all are.
I think
natural.
I'm excited about it.
When I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I was like, oh, it would be great to be like a detective to solve murders. And then I was like, wait, but then you have to encounter the murderer and possibly be murdered. And I was like, nah, I don't want to do that at all. I don't even like to listen to it. I like the idea.
You would love these ladies. Donovan, you tell them.
They seem lovely. They seem quite wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean.
But what I do like to
Get
listen
so
to.
nervous and stuff like
Nobody's motivated.
I know. What I do like to listen to on road trips because it keeps me awake. My wife loves to listen to this podcast called Spooked, where it's spooky stories.
It's the same thing.
And yeah, but you know,
Exactly.
nobody's getting murdered. It's just it's a nuisance to homeowners. They're like, oh God, there's a ghost in my house. I can't leave. The market's terrible. So that is the true terror. Like that's what I was terrified when I became a homeowner. Was like, what if I buy a house and then it's haunted? And then what am I going to do? Like I'm gonna.
Call in a person to be witchified.
Yeah, but then I listened to a podcast and she didn't get all of them. She only got the ones that revealed themselves, and then I guess the ones that stayed didn't appreciate that their roommates were gone.
I want you to really think about this though. How many ghosts that stay around are actually just really nice and like chilling?
I'm sure they're really nice, but you know what would be fierce is if I had a ghost in my house that was like, you filed your taxes wrong. What? Like I wake up in the morning, all the dishes are done, and then just like a cute, like you look tired, get some more sleep. Oh my gosh, thanks, ghost.
Yeah, I want that ghost.
Yeah. That would be a sick ghost.
Have you seen the TV show Ghosts?
Yeah, I love the TV show Ghosts.
That would be fun.
That would be awesome.
As long as you can see them.
As long as you can see them, but then what if you don't, but again, what if you get the one ghost that's like, oh, you meant Frank?
The angry ghost.
Well, those are just the basement ghosts.
Oh. But isn't it a requirement in order to be able to see ghosts, you need to at least like been like, approach death or something like that? So then that means that needs to have happened. I don't know. Wait, the ghosts? Oh.
Yeah. Are we going to go there?
Do you want to? I didn't want to go there. You can go there. Kyle is a medium.
I'm a medium and I talk to dead people.
Do they help you with your taxes?
No, I wish that hell they would.
Well, okay, so what's it?
No.
What's interesting is that one of our writers, we found out, is a death doula.
Yes, that's my next step.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the process of becoming a death doula?
The
Are you
process.
death doula as well?
No,
No,
it's a podcast.
Oh my gosh, I was
Welcome.
This is like a
There's a reason we brought you here.
This is a trap.
The process of becoming a death doula is going through a certification process. So I've had a little bit of an experience with that, where I've ushered a few people to the transition. study with someone who then can teach you all the different parts of that process, which include how to usher the family through it, how to be with a dying person, and also how to handle the body after death.
Oh.
And so, well, in many cases, the family or friends will want to view the body, and so there's a whole process of, in some cases, creating, like washing the body, covering it in flowers, putting it on dry ice so that they can visit for 3 days. It depends on their religion, it depends on the belief system of the person, but really it's kind of being a facilitator between the dying person and the family, so that you can help everyone to embrace the process of what's happening. And then for me, what's interesting is because I do mediumship, is I'm curious about, as people are dying, they're connected with spirit. That's a very common thing, and being a bridge between those two worlds. So I just find that really.
I told you this podcast was one where you ask us stuff. I warned you guys ahead of time.
I have a question that I'll steal from. I have a question that I'll steal from our writer Arnett, who's the dead doula. He said one of the questions I love to ask people is, if you had a song to call you back, what would it be? To play at the end of your life, what would your song be?
You know what it would be? My mother died when I was a child, and she used to sing this song to me, and it has stuck with me such that my husband sang it on our wedding day, and it's what the world needs now.
Yeah.
Love, sweet love. I would have that song to me as I went.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, I can't watch it.
I know, right?
I was gonna be like, well, it's gonna be a Madonna song, but then she did that.
Be sure you calm down.
Come on, oh. What would you do? Really?
I don't know.
Is that a hard one?
Yeah, that's a hard one.
It took me a second. You don't have to answer now. We can circle back.
We just use La Isla Bonita as a placeholder.
You know,
If we don't get back there, that's what we'll take.
going back to karaoke, that is, when I was a kid, that was the song that I gravitated to. Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. La Isla Bonita. My song, I think, would be, at the moment, I'm feeling Harvest Moon.
Oh, yeah.
From Neil Young.
My husband sang that to me at our engagement.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a
You
beautiful.
know the cutest relationship. Stop it.
We just constantly sing to each other.
I know, that's so cute. No, that's
How did
adorable.
you meet?
Music. So I'm a singer and he's a musician who plays like 30 some odd different
Amazing.
things. And we met through his sister's dance theater company. So my girlfriend and I used to sing with him, invited me to a show. He was the musical director. Yeah, so we do music together and record and write.
Oh, that's beautiful. Talk about like an intimate thing to do together.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is, yeah. It's great. It's fun.
Well, Donna, what's your song?
Yeah, what's your song?
Dramatically, it'd be like O Fortuna, like the Art Wars, like the Carmina Burana. So it's like, but like, you know, like, it has this crescendo at the end. And I want to sit up right at the end of that. No. Maybe, I'm not sure.
It feels like a cremation song.
Oh, yeah, that would be a cremation song? Oh, the old actor. Well, I think that's like the beginning, they're like at a party or something like that. I can't remember that whole like operetta. No, but it's to come back. Or were you saying to go across over? Oh.
There's like one song you want playing when you die.
I thought for some reason, I misunderstood the assignment. I thought it was like you died for a little bit, but it's like, this one's not going to take, and when you're coming back into your body. Oh, no, I thought it was like whatever you want to play, so it's like,
Come back to
we don't want you to be totally dead yet. We want you to come back.
That's fine.
Oh, I misunderstood. I don't know if I have like one particular song that I need like that way. I mean, lately, like I was listening to a lot of Tom Petty on the way over here. Like Wildflowers is not a terrible song. But it's like, I always thought that song was maybe about like a young girl or something. It was really like a young woman. It wasn't so much like, it's like a wish for a young woman. So I don't know if that's my particular, maybe, What?
Would it be weird that that song played and everybody in your family could hear it too, and they knew that was the song you picked, but they all were like, that's about a young girl, and they were like,
It's about like a wish for like a girl who's like essentially going and starting a life. It's like you belong among, you're supposed to go do all of these wonderful things in your life. You belong among.
Sure, but it sounds perfect.
Yeah, it's kind of so it's like to be continued. If you think about it.
Pick another. It's okay.
All right. We'll just use Sir Mix-a-Lot as a placeholder.
All right. Well, I don't really know, but since Steve isn't here, I will say Troposphere.
Ooh, that's a good one.
By Steve Burns. I will go with that.
And then he's like,
have you listened to, all right, so
Yes.
this is a kid's album that's not really for kids. Have you listened to Songs for Everywhere?
No.
It is one of the most beautiful albums I've ever listened to.
You're going to sing some of it?
No, I can't sing it, and it's so good. He did it with Stephen Droz from Flaming Lips, and it is incredible.
In our very first episode of our podcast, I quoted a lyric from there, and I told you guys I was going to get it a tattoo about the unicorn.
Oh my God.
He told me, please don't do it. Please don't do it. It's about a unicorn. Do not get that tattooed on your body. Please do not do that. Yeah.
Okay. Or you got a tattoo.
I don't. I have a lot of tattoos. I did not get that one, but
B, why did you mention it if you're not going to sing it?
it's a whole album.
It's a whole album.
And it's amazing.
One song and a bar.
It's a whole album.
It is. But if it's okay with you guys, I would like to open it up for if anybody here has questions for these lovely, or do you have questions for that crowd? Questions for the crowd. Anybody here want to ask questions to these lovely guys?
yes.
Did your role on Blue's Clues have any strange influence on how you conducted your regular personal life after you assumed the role? And were there any hilarious consequences?
Oh, I mean, it still affects my physical behavior. I used to point with two fingers all the time. It was like you said, when something was over there, like on the show.
It would always be this. I thought we were going to go over there. It was always
I thumb kind of finger, and then so that I started doing stuff like that, every now and again. It was like, yeah, I don't know. It's like that's just never enough, or that's never. It was always for a long time.
In a personal life, it made me take more time and just think about what I'm gonna do and don't be so hot-headed. But there are some things that apparently I do sound effects a lot, and my wife was like, you make sound effects all the time. I was like, no, I don't. What are you talking about? And then I was putting something on a shelf. I was like, shoot. And she was standing next to me, and I looked at her, and she just looked at me okay.
I do that too.
Maybe that's just a man thing.
No, I think it's a blues clues.
It's a blues
Yeah, a
thing.
little bit.
Anybody else have any questions?
Let's do you for Stephanie. You sit it.
Oh, yes. Yes, yes. No.
You drove from further. You sit
So
it.
I actually grew up with Steve, so no offense to y'all guys. I stopped watching Blues Clues after this, but I was just here to support Kyle and Richard, but you guys seem really interesting guys. And I had a thought that I wanted to ask you. There was a movie that came out in the 80s called Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah.
And the actor Bob Hoskins
Yeah.
said that he had to seek therapy because he kept seeing Roger Rabbit. Do you feel like you guys kind of needed to seek therapy after seeing Blues Clues? Just wondering.
Yes, I definitely did seek therapy, but it wasn't because I was seeing a dog everywhere. It was because I was having to work with many different directors, and you're having to dance with many different partners. And sometimes, not sometimes, I get in my head a lot, and you jump to conclusions, and then at the time, I wasn't managing my ADHD. I wasn't diagnosed ADHD, and I wasn't managing it in my day-to-day life or
medicinally. So a lot of that was like clashing, and in my head I was just spiraling and kind of getting tunnel vision. So in that sense, I did have to seek therapy and a psychiatrist, and it's one of the best things I could have ever done for my day-to-day life and professional life. Like this director that I was having problems with in my head, like I adore this person so much, and I love them. And so yeah, in that sense, yes, I did need to seek therapy.
Was it Donovan?
It was Donovan Patton.
It
It was Donovan Patton, and I do love him, but I do need to be medicated.
It wasn't.
ADHD is just like magnified. It's like becoming a megazord of ADHD. I think therapy is a great idea, no matter what. Yeah, you don't need like we all got stuff. Everybody, like that's one thing that I've kind of learned in life is just like everybody's dealing with something.
Yeah.
Basically on any given day. So I have as well.
I guess it's like, for me, it's kind of like going to the gym, or like you have to work out. And that way, whenever you encounter something, like if you need to lift a heavy box, you don't pull your back. In the same way that if you deal with a really heavy problem one day, you don't spiral and you can't recover, or you have to apologize. Which is going to happen inevitably, because we're all human, but yeah, I think that's therapy is much like going to the gym. You got to take care of yourself.
I appreciate the honest answer on that.
But I do see blue.
Yeah. On an everyday basis.
Every day.
Everyone in here is blue.
I am people. Now Stephanie, our lovely actress Stephanie Kerr.
I am an actress too. I've been to some weird auditions. I'm wondering what the craziest audition experience you guys have had.
Ooh. All right. So.
Kid friendly.
Well.
Don't censor it.
Sure. I can talk about this one in like a kid-friendly way. I was up for Blue's Clues and Blair Witch 2 at the same time. So, the callback for the Blair Witch, I was really excited because I got to meet the director, who's a dude named Joe Berlinger, who's doing amazing documentary films. I don't know, and they're all really heavy topics, including, but then also there's a one about Metallica when they all went to therapy called Some Kind of Monster, and he directs it like that, and these movies, Brothers Keeper and the Paradise Lost series. But I met him and was like super excited to meet him. And then in this audition, this actress and I are supposed to kind of make out. And then we're kind of possessed by like a weird spirit in the middle. And so like it kind of turns like slightly violent in the middle of it. And so it was just like, it was a really, we like legitimately we went for it. And it was just a really odd experience. It's just strange because then you're in a room with people we had never met. And it was just like, that's how it goes sometimes. And you have a conversation in the hallway, because especially if anything's going to involve, like as an actor, if anything's going to involve this, like anything, but just most casual physical touches, it's good to just make sure you're going to be on the same page and say like, hey, what are you comfortable with? Are you okay if we this one involved kissing. So I was like, so how do you feel about that? It's always good, no matter what. And if you're ever in an audition, this is just a bit of advice. Don't ever, unless you've had that conversation and you're working with another actor, like if there's a reader in the room or something, don't physically interact with the reader, ever. It's good just like kind of basically you have an invisible line sort of between you and the reader. It's just good advice. But we had the conversation, we went there, and it was weird, because also there's all these people in there and they're like, And that's kind of what it's like when you're filming something too. But when you're filming something, you've had all that other time to get to know everybody who's going to be around you on set. It's a much more comfortable environment most of the time. Hopefully, it's a healthy set. So that was a weird one. It's like a long story, but if you're gonna physically interact, always just make sure that it's okay, like that both people are cool with it.
So consent.
Consent. Yeah. Essentially.
Consent is good.
Yeah, and you'll get a better performance that way too, because then, because if you're encountered with something you weren't expecting, that's like a physical like thing that is like, it's gonna just usually stop your performance most of the time. It's just be cool. Why can't we be cool? Yeah.
Crazy audition. There's one that, like, if I just aren't ever really that crazy. I hate full body slates. I hate full body slates when you do a self-submission, self-tape. The only thing I hate more than a full body slate is like a full body slate into a zoom in while you're saying your thing. So like I'm Josh DeLa Cruz with 5'10", blah, 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 into a close-up. I hate those. But as far as like audition things, I was auditioning for a musical and I sang my song and the director was looking at my resume and he's like, oh, I see you have this accent. Can you redo your song but sing it in this accent? And I was like, okay, sure. I no longer have that accent on my resume. So,
Wait, what accent?
Next question.
I would just like also to brag. This is Stephanie Kurz. She won yesterday. Director, she's a writer, she's an actor. She has a screen over 60 films you've been in.
About 80 now.
About 80.
Wow, that's amazing.
It was 60. She has been in a lot of films, a lot of horror films. She is just an amazing actress. So love her, you guys. Thanks.
Don't tell me stuff you already know.
I think we have a question from the young lady in pink. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. I was wondering, since starting Blue's Clues, have either of you gotten a dog?
Oh.
Did you name the dog Blue?
No.
When did you get Banksy?
We rescued a dog, we have a husky, and her name is Banksy, and we've had her for close to 4 years now.
Yeah, you got her like after the first season, right?
Yeah.
So it did work.
No, it's good. Yeah. I mean, we always wanted a dog, but I was always in like apartments or like townhouses or something. Like we didn't really have like a place where I felt like I could put the dog. And I don't know. I like bigger dogs, and so I wanted a bigger dog. I grew up kind of with like labs and golden retriever, like bigger, like wrestling dogs. And so and so now we got a dog. She doesn't wrestle so much, but she'll like yank my arm off chasing the squirrels. Great. She's a good little creature. She's the most husky ever. She's lazy and she doesn't like howl. I've heard her howl like once. It was a car alarm. It was so half-hearted. It was hilarious. She was just like, but it was like she couldn't control it. There was some car alarm going off on an evening walk, and she was like, oh. And she looked at me like, yeah, I don't know why I did it. But you had dogs. Okay, so around Blue's Clues, Josh with DeLa Cruz.
So my dog Ollie, he was about 3 years old at that time. He was on set with me every single day. And he was underneath the camera. Whenever the guitar snaps up, he's laying next to our prop master who's getting that ready. Sometimes he's hiding in set. That man loves to work. He loves to go to work. He loves to go to work. I would, in the mornings, I would, let's go to work, and he'd hop off the bed. And then we'd get out of the car, and then he'd be pulling the leash to go through because he needed to get his bacon to start his day. The crew would feed him. And when I was getting my makeup done, I thought that he was just around the crafty table. But then I was told that he went to the very front of the building, and he would sit at the doors, and he would just sit and just watch people on the street. And then when somebody would come to the door, he'd back up. Wait for them to pass, then he'd go back and he'd just window watch. But that's Ollie, and then he just left to sit and watch. But Ollie was always on set. Yeah, he was our producer.
Okay, that's cute. That's cute. Any other questions from anyone?
Please, yes.
Yes. Go for it.
I wanted to ask about why you sit into some kind of mic so I want to be on my blue.
You want to
Do you want to go online? Come on.
Yeah, come on over.
You got this, girl.
It's gonna be great.
All right, so here, hold on. Let me just look you up. That's professional. All right, ready? Okay, here we go. Are you ready? Wait, hold on.
It's the inward giggle there. Are there any other questions before I let these handsome little babies go? Lexon, do you have a question?
No.
Parting thoughts?
Can I just say how jealous I am that you were on Nurse Jackie?
Oh, wait, what?
My favorite show in the entire world.
Yeah. Oh wait, that reminds me of other things. I have more questions now.
Okay, wait, tell me about Nurse Jackie.
Okay, so Nurse Jackie, it's a very, very small part. And I get to drop an F-bomb on that one too. Of course.
Man, over here.
But yeah, so my daughter, who is now 14, was basically pretty brand new right around that time. And yeah, so my part is just a guy like being with his wife as they take a baby out, from the hospital essentially. And so like his wife's holding the baby and they're in an elevator, and it's just like a teeny part of the storyline. This other guy, I think he's afraid that his wife's about to give birth or something like that, and he's like scared for some reason, and I can't remember the reason. But what's cool about that particular show and that particular episode, the showrunner on that show, I think, or the head writer, I don't know, she was one of the writers on the show, is a fantastic writer named Liz Playhive. And she was one of the creators of that show Glow, and she was on, I don't know, the third season of that show Homecoming, like maybe when they're in Europe or something like that. It's fantastic. But I knew her when she was a student at NYU. She was a writing student. And we used to do these play reviews with my friend, who I went to high school with, went to this boarding school in Michigan for the arts. This guy, Josh Friedman, and he was a classmate of Liz Playhives. And so we would do these like play reviews in like this basement theater under a pizza shop, the Two Boots Pizza, like stuff like that. So it's like, I didn't know this, so I showed up to do that part or whatever. It's pretty quick or whatever. And then I saw Liz Playhive for the first time in a long time. I was like, oh my gosh! And I'm a bad denizen of the internet. Like I don't like look people up. There's some part of it where I'm like, in some ways I'm like, I know people want you to like keep tabs on stuff that they're doing or whatever, and I always feel like it's like an invasion of privacy. So it's like I had no idea that she was doing such an amazing job. I was like, oh my gosh, like it's great. And so like I find things out in person. Like the good Gen Xer I am.
Yeah, good boy. What a good boy.
Yeah, just like showing up and talking to people. Yeah, so like that was kind of fun. That was a fun day, just because she's amazing. And I was like, oh my gosh, I remember when we were like reading each other's like short plays in the basement of a New York City pizza place. Pretty well.
But you made it, gosh darn it.
Yeah.
You made it.
Yeah.
But then you're also recently the bad guy of Matlock.
Oh yeah, I'm a jerky lawyer on Matlock.
Not really the bad guy, but yeah. But it's what they call you, the bad guy. You're
Well,
the
he's
bad
that guy. He's trying to kick some old dude out of his apartment.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah. Using the law against people.
Did you get to work with Kathy Bates?
No, I met her on read through. I worked with a guy named Hal Williams, who was just like he's like a TV legend or whatever. He was on 227 and a million other things. So yeah, he's the guy I'm trying to kick out of his apartment.
It was a good episode. I mean, the whole series, I love it, but that was a fun episode. And I remember when I saw you come on screen, I was like, hey, that's my friend. And I didn't even know you yet. I was like, that's my friend. He's my best friend. That's my best friend there.
That's kind of my best friend. Well, and that episode was directed by Jane Lynch, who's yeah, David Lynch's daughter. Yeah, she's great. She was a lot of fun to work with. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you. Any last questions before I...
Comments, questions, appreciation?
You again, sir.
If Blue's Clues got an edgy or adult-themed remake, what would you guys want the mystery to be?
Oh, it would have to be like a murder.
Yeah.
It was like us trying to solve a murder, but like we couldn't, but Blue was also kidnapped, and we had to try and find Blue. And we were finding the kidnapper and the murderer. So she would find like leave us clues, and we would have to ask the home viewer for help.
Or we like make it a workplace thing, and it's like, who took a bite of Gerald's sandwich? Like it was clearly labeled in the fridge. It's Gerald's sandwich.
What is that Chris Maloney? The Chris Maloney TV show.
You know.
You know which one I'm talking about? With Patton Oswalt, with the Happy. That is what he just basically described Happy, right?
Yeah. Oh man, I guess I did.
How dare you?
I'm trying to say.
That's why it came out so easily for me.
Well, what if maybe Blue was a gift from my wife who died of cancer? These Russian gangsters come into town, kill my dog, steal my car, and I go on a rampage trying to rid them from this world.
He's been a hitman this whole time.
And a secret hitman, we expanded into 4 movies as a spin-off in that podcast.
No, we're saying Josh. Yeah, she's there. And yeah, she was behind it the whole time.
She was behind the whole time, she didn't die. She just wanted me to go back to hitting men.
He's a man of music. I actually just remembered a question that my husband thought of a couple of weeks ago. This is more for the creators, but I'm going to ask you, Blue's Clues, but I'm going to ask you guys, and this is, I hope you guys don't get offended, but you probably get compared to Bluey a lot. Yeah. And so this is along, Bluey tends to educate parents a lot in their TV show. Have you guys ever considered like how Blue's Clues might actually impact parents? Yeah. Because it's targeted towards kids, as where Bluey is targeted towards parents.
Well, I think our show is always kid focused because Angela came from like the school of Mr. Rogers where
we wanted to make sure, Angela wanted to make sure that there was good content for kids so that parents didn't have to worry about what was on TV for kids. And like there have been many studies about how kids that watch Blue's Clues did much better on like their tests and much better in life. And so that was like mission accomplished. And one of the things that we've heard, and we're so happy whenever we go to things like this or to conventions and meet families, is that parents are like, you gave me 20 minutes or you gave me this time so that I could do this thing, so I could get this thing done. And while our show definitely doesn't aim to teach parents how to be parents or to deal with situations like that, I do feel good about
having quality content that families can rely on. That if you put us on, you don't have to worry. Just to have time.
As a mom, I always felt my son was safe with that show. Like I could step away and trust that he was good hands.
Yeah.
Until you find out she's the crime boss the whole time.
I mean, listen.
That's decades later though.
Yeah.
For almost 25 years, she was great. It was great. Then she was the crime boss.
Yeah.
So.
3 daughters.
3 daughters. 25 years later. All the things. Well, thank you. Thank you guys. This has been amazing. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Wolf Media Festival Podcast with Kyle Hollingsworth, Richard Wilmore, and Jacquelynn Wolfheart. Produced and edited by me. I'm Jacquelynn Wolfheart. Don't forget to check out the links in the description to find ways you can connect with our guests. Thanks for checking us out today and tuning in every week wherever you get your podcasts.